Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy, man. Today is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day for it to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, man. I sound like damn Mr. Rogers up in here. But hey, Big Ben Wallace, it's about damn time, man. It's going to be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. As you guys can read on the screen in front of you, the wait is over for Ben Wallace. The four-time Defensive Player of the Year will be in the 2021 class for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. A source sells Yahoo! Sorry, man. I'm a little excited right now, okay? It's a long time coming. It needed to happen. It needed to happen, man. And I'm going to say right here, guys, tell me that you a casual without telling me you a casual, man, right here. I like Ben Wallace, but his stats are not Hall of Fame worthy. Defensively great, but overall stats ugly. It's like, that's the thing, man. All you young bloods up in here, all you care about is scoring. You don't care about the art of defense, man. It's why Ben Simmons gets so much hate these days. Ben Wallace, what he did great, what he was the master, what he is a Hall of Famer for, was his ability to affect the game of basketball without it showing on the damn stat sheet, which is so important. I mean, this guy was the heart, the muscle, the everything behind the Detroit Pistons championship run, man. And I can't be more happier for him. So, just so you know, some of you guys can get educated up in here, man. For today's video, we are going to be reacting to how good was... Oh, damn. Yo, let me edit this up real quick here, guys. Gonna edit this up. Here we go. Here we go, man. Here we go. Hired a flight editor for this one. We hired his editor, man. This is all going to be edited out. Okay. Yep. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and yo, what's going on? I'm just joking, man. Okay, here we go. Let's get going on this. How good was Ben Wallace actually video by Andy Hoops? Let's get it, man.
How's it going, fellas?
So
My
happy
name's
for him,
Andy,
guys.
And today we're going to take a look at Ben Wallace. How good was he actually?
Amazing.
And recently, he just got snubbed again from the 2018 Hall of Fame class, so will he get into the Hall of Fame eventually?
Yup. I predict
Wallace's
2021.
career is a bit hard to evaluate if you haven't seen him play.
And that's the issue.
His career stats and even his highlight videos don't do him justice, because the ridiculous impact he had on the floor is not reflected in either of them. Here are his career stats.
Right, and if there's anybody out there that brings up the career stats like that, that tells me that you didn't start watching basketball till 2015, man. So...
6 points a game, 9 rebounds, 41% free throw percentage, and a rather mediocre field goal percentage for a center. He did record some good block and steal numbers, but just from looking at those stats, you'd assume that he was just a role player or something. And I guess you could make that case, but I don't agree with it. He was not a role player.
Definitely not.
In my opinion, he was a superstar on the defensive end, and he's one of the few players in history who had just as much of an impact on defense, if not a greater impact than other offensive superstars.
Oh yeah, that was his thing.
Wallace had his best seasons on the Detroit Pistons. From 2002 to 2006, he made 5 all-defensive
The Allen Iverson of
selections,
defensive players,
got
man.
selected for 4 All-Star games, and led the league in rebounding twice and in blocks once. Led the league in defensive win shares for 4 straight seasons, and also won 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Keep in mind, he was only 6'9" tall.
Undrafted also.
At, but even 6'9" is a bit generous. Apparently he was closer to 6'7" without shoes on. Leading the league in rebounding and blocks at that height is ridiculous. He also tied Dikembe Mutombo for the most Defensive Player of the Year awards won by a single player. Oh, and guess what? This guy went undrafted. He was part of the 1996 draft class, one of the greatest drafts in NBA history. And a lot of people probably didn't even know he was in the same draft class as these guys.
Like this right here. Who am I taking Big Ben over out of all these guys? Take him over damn Antoine Walker. I don't know who this is. I ain't taking him over Kobe. Sorry, Ben. I ain't taking him over Ray Allen. But you know what I'm saying? Like Ben Wallace should be in this damn picture. Was that Jermaine O'Neal right there? Take him over Jermaine O'Neal.
And up until now, he's still the first and only undrafted player to ever be selected as a starter for the All-Star game. Additionally, like what I mentioned earlier, Wallace's legacy and on-court production transcended beyond all of these stats and accolades.
Wallace.
He actually made defense fun to watch. In pretty much every single game, Wallace was at a height disadvantage against whoever he was guarding. But he would constantly suffocate them and hold big men far below their season averages. Part of the reason he was able to stand his ground was because, well, he was really freaking strong. Nobody except maybe Shaq was able to move him in the post since he was so strong.
He just worked harder than everybody else.
Shaq had trouble against him. Besides that, though, Wallace was also a great pick-and-roll defender for his time.
Show the Shaq block.
Even though pick-and-rolls were not as common as they are today, he was very quick on his feet earlier in his career, which allowed him to effectively defend perimeter players for short periods of time. From 2003 to 2006, the Pistons always finished top 5 in defensive efficiency, with Wallace anchoring the defense. Another thing I want to bring up is that throughout NBA history, players who were primarily good at just defense did not get paid as much as players who were just strictly offensive players. It makes sense though.
Which is kind of funny now too with like Rudy Gobert, because everybody is quick to say like Rudy Gobert's overpaid, but it's simply a great defensive player making his money, right? So I feel like that's kind of interesting.
For the average audience,
how it's kind of changed how we actually view it.
Way more exciting to watch than defense. So you got to give them bigger contracts because they're bringing in more people to watch the games. For example, I'm sure 99% of the world would rather watch James Harden than Andre Robertson. Great defense was unappealing to watch back then. However, Wallace was the player who changed that. In fact, he was statistically one of the worst offensive players in the league for years. But he still got paid like a superstar when the Bulls offered him a...
This low-key broke my heart right here, man. When he went to the Chicago Bulls. You know, really, I mean, it just... He came back eventually, though.
Hefty 4-year, $60 million contract. And nowadays, you have all of these defensive-minded centers being paid a lot of money, even if they aren't stars. Like Steven Adams or even Jan Mahimi, who's getting paid $16 million a year for some reason. I'm sorry.
Give his agent a raise.
And let's not forget about Joakim Noah's 4-year, $72 million deal either.
Yeah, I was just talking about this.
But yeah, without Wallace setting the standard, many defensive-minded centers who are average or mediocre offensively would have never gotten this type of respect or money. He made the NBA realize that, wow, if there's a big man who has any semblance of good defense, then they're very valuable and worth a lot. Now, obviously, this way of thinking has back...
Can you imagine a Big Ben player for like the Warriors right now? Just like how much of a perfect fit he would be? Maybe not Draymond is there, because, you know, like that's not really a lot of offense from the front court. But, damn, like, I feel like Ben Wallace, just like the way he plays, he would be even better in today's game. Just the way he can run up and down the court and stuff and guard multiple positions. He'd be even better, man.
Fired sometimes, and we see a lot of big men today who are heavily overpaid and clogging up a team's cap space. But hey, it's better for the players at least. Guys like Mahinmi, Mozgov, and Biyombo should all be thanking Wallace, and the salary cap spike. Anyway, Wallace was also an inspiration for a lot of undersized big men as well, as he showed everyone that players can still be amazing even if they're giving up a couple of inches. Draymond Green has stated that Big Ben was his inspiration growing up. Green grew up in Michigan and was lucky enough to watch Wallace in his prime with the Pistons, but there was something that always boggled his mind. He never understood how Wallace was so undersized, yet dominated anyone who challenged him. How in the world was Wallace doing this? It didn't make any sense to him. But Green was able to meet him when he was a kid and found out quickly why he was so good. It was because Wallace had a relentless work ethic and he refused to be outworked by...
I was gonna say though, man, you know, when I met Big Ben about 2 or 3 years ago, got to shoot some hoops with him at the Palace, or Little Caesars Arena. I told him to play defense on him. He said no, man. He backed down. I'm just joking. He probably just, there was no scenario where he was going to play defense because he's like, no, man, I'm good. And then I shot it and I hit it off the top of the backboard. So his defensive presence actually shook me, man. But yeah. He blocked me with his mind.
Practice. When you're already undersized, you can't let others outwork you or else you'll never make it to the NBA. Green took his words of advice and modeled his own game after his. Even to this day, the two of them are still friends, and in 2017, when Draymond Green won Defensive Player of the Year, Wallace actually presented him with the trophy.
Oh yeah, Big Ben ain't no damn 6'9". He actually looks a little shorter than Draymond right here. And Draymond's what, like 6'6", 6'7"? Maybe 6'7"? Yeah, man, he ain't no 6'9".
Anyway, Wallace ended up signing with the Bulls for the 2006-07 season and instantly turned them into the best defensive team in the league. Previously, in 2005-06, the Bulls were 7th in the league in defensive rating, so jumping from 7th to 1st is
He left because he wasn't allowed to wear headbands.
Wallace helped the young Bulls team to 49 wins, but unfortunately they lost in the second round of the playoffs to his former team, which is kinda funny. But even without Wallace, the Pistons were still considered a great team this year. The problem
Got
was they
kicked off
had
of
a
TNT.
huge hole at center and their rebounding dropped off a lot. Since they ended up moving Rasheed Wallace to center and their big man rotation consisted of an aging Chris Webber and Antonio McDyess.
McDyess was a
Their
beast.
lack of interior defense was very clear in the 2007 Eastern Conference Finals. Most of you probably remember the series, and if you don't, I definitely recommend watching the highlights. Game 5 was when a very young LeBron James scored the last 25 points for his team, and the Cavs won the series in 6 games. LeBron was getting into the paint at will, and with Wallace no longer there, he was doing whatever he wanted.
Took Michael's
all
secret
day.
stuff before that damn game,
There
I swear.
was nobody to stop him on his drives because they physically could not. If Wallace was there, I don't think something like
I
this
think I literally threw up after this game. I think I actually vomited.
would have happened. I can't see LeBron repeatedly getting so many easy looks at the rim with Wallace contesting him. I wanted to talk about the series against the Cavs because in hindsight, some critics underestimate the impact that Wallace had. They just look through history and say, oh, well, Wallace was kinda overrated, his stats were mediocre, and the Pistons made 2 more Eastern Conference Finals even after he left. So how much of an impact did he really have? And although it was true that he was bad offensively and the Pistons did continue to make the conference finals, the team was never
We won a finals with him, and then we got to the finals the year after with Big Ben Wallace. So
never the same after he was gone. They were still winning over 50 games for a few years and remained a great regular season team. But at the time, the general consensus was that the Pistons were no longer legit contenders without Wallace. So, how good was Ben Wallace actually? He was, in my opinion, the greatest defender in the last 20 years.
thank you.
But offensively, he was pretty bad.
Wow,
I still think
yeah.
he should be in the Hall of Fame though, since, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year is insane. In his prime, he was winning the award over guys like Duncan and Garnett, and we know how amazing those two were on defense. It might take a couple years for Wallace to get in, but he will eventually, I'm sure.
Oh, he
of
will.
it.
He will.
And that's it for this video.
Very good video, man. That's a good, just a good summary right there for you guys. You know, realizing just how good Big Ben was. That's all we got, man. Thank you all so much for watching. Congratulations, Big Ben Wallace, man. It's just, whenever I played basketball growing up, that was just always my mindset, was to just play harder than others. Then I gained a lot of weight, and I liked McDonald's and Taco Bell too much. And, well, the physicality could not stay up with the mentality, let me just say. All right, that's all we got, man. Thank you all for watching, guys. Peace out.